from clarkwoods.com. This is Horribly Off Topic, episode number 92. I am Steve.
I'm the donkey. I'm the Shrek man.
The Shrek man.
I'm not even doing a Scottish accent.
No.
Donkey. There we go. I have to go, before. Donkey.
You got to go up a little bit at the end, I think. Donkey.
Does he say it like that?
I don't know. I feel like he's got a little bit of a rise there. Well, I mean, maybe he's just got a little bit of a rise.
You're just trying to get a rise out of me.
Oh! I think
the donkey!
Maybe it's because the donkey is getting a little rise out of Shrek, so he's got a little bit of an uptick in the...
Listen, donkey!
Listen, donkey!
We're gonna go and have some fun, donkey.
He can fly.
That role was
he can talk.
That role was meant for Chris Farley.
Shrek?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Would have been a shitty movie if it had been Chris Farley.
He would have been like hiking up his pants and being like, "Let me tell you." I don't think it would have been terrible if it was Chris Farley. I think that man's a comic genius.
Okay.
You don't like Chris Farley at all?
There are very few comedians of that period that I find funny at all. Like
really?
Like I
wouldn't call him a comedian. He was a comic actor.
Oh, okay. Well, Chris Farley, David Spade,
David Spade is an actual stand-up.
Okay.
I wouldn't call Adam Sandler an actual stand-up because all he does is take his guitar out and go, "Oh, turkey, turkey, doodle, touch my tutor." But and then he does that ridiculous six movie. No, that was a Ween song called "Touch My Tutor."
Touch me in the turkey, touch me in the night. I'm a little Adam Sandler delight.
I don't even think he's that witty anymore.
No,
he's like I'm just
at Hanukkah.
I'm just a sad person that is in movies. So people.
And I'm sad because I'm in movies.
No, he's just like you didn't see Pixels.
No,
and you only, I imagine, saw what little bits of Ridiculous Six we had on the TV when we were here. And which was the same extent. And he doesn't even bother acting anymore. He's just like, I'm just gonna speak in a gruff voice, and it's gonna seem like I'm acting, even though I'm not. We're talking about video games, Pac-Man and stuff. He doesn't emote anymore. It's because he doesn't give a shit anymore.
Is it because he lost Chris Farley?
No, he
was he close to Farley?
He was still. Yes, I think he was very close to Farley. But Farley died back in 98.
Okay, yeah, sounds right. Maybe
fact checkers out there.
I'll look it up.
No. Let's get our emailers to say you're wrong.
All right.
Either that or, if I'm approximately right, don't be like, Steve's an asshole. He died in 1999.
Donkey, you're approximately right. No, that's terrible. Chris, you're approximately Scottish.
What?
I'm approximately Scottish.
What the fuck was I saying before?
Farley died approximately 98.
So yeah, I mean, Adam Sandler was still making, I think that was around the time of Wedding Singer, wasn't it? Or was that...
Sounds right, yeah.
Or was that earlier?
Might have been earlier. I feel like we had The Wedding Singer and The Wedding Singer sequel, the two soundtracks, because at that time one movie could support two CD soundtracks, and I think we had those at the college radio station, and I graduated in 99, so
all right, so it was Wedding Singer and what was it, Waterboy, and then Little Nicky, all those gems of the late 90s. Actually, I think Little Nicky was in the early aughts.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah. If it wasn't, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, Big Trouble in Little Daddy.
That one people liked. I didn't like that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it had that kid who went on to be on the Zack and Cody.
Oh, I thought that kid was the same kid that went on to be Star Wars kid.
No,
not the Star Wars kid that was flipping the lightsaber around in his room and
no, not the cool Star Wars kid.
In his khakis.
No, the kid who went on to be the Star Wars kid. He was in the one with Sinbad.
Oh yes,
Sinbad and
Jingle All the Way.
Yes, Arnold.
I need the Turbo Man. He does these impressions.
Do you think he was the real guy? No, I'm not a big fan. I was never a big Chris Farley fan. I was never a big Adam Sandler fan, even when he was supposedly good. No, there's like a whole period there where just the comedy is lost on me. I mean, I hate Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell.
Ferrell. Yeah, I think he's a jackass.
Not even the Anchorman one?
No, I never seen it.
You've never seen the Anchorman?
No.
The second one was garbage, but that's typical of most
yeah.
of sequels to comedy films.
Some of the people in that, like Paul Rudd's in that, right?
Yes.
I like Paul Rudd.
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell, I love.
Massachusetts' own.
Well, at least I like him in The 40-Year-Old Virgin. I don't know if I dig him in a ton of other places. He was in.
He's a pretty good everyman.
Yeah, he was in something where he was kind of like the jackass, not quite stepfather, but like mother's boyfriend. It's like a summer thing with a kid on a beach. I don't know, down Cape Cod maybe. Anyway,
so you didn't like Step Brothers at all, is what you're saying?
Well, Step Brothers has. I think in theory I could like Step Brothers because I do like
John
the other
C.
guy.
Reilly.
John C. Reilly, I dig John C. Reilly, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just picky.
Yeah, just like somebody's nose.
Just like somebody's nose. I mean, there are things that I liked. I don't know. I feel like the Golden Age of comedy. Steve Guttenberg. I mean, like Steve Guttenberg and like Bubba Smith and like the I'm just kidding.
You're trying to segue into the fact that you watched Police Academy recently.
I did. Well,
the original, which is rated
rated R. And so I was.
I like I drew an R.
You did.
It's backwards to you. But
I was on the HBO. I was on the HBO Go, and which one?
Are you officially old now because you're calling it the HBO?
Yes.
Just like you call it the internet, Google, the Facebook, the Twitter.
It is the internet. There's only one of them.
Hey, log on today.
I was on HBO Go, which of course won't play on my computer because I refuse to install Adobe Flash. Fuck you, HBO. Other Netflix doesn't require you to use Flash. Nothing else requires you to use Flash. But HBO
well, you do have to, like, if you want to watch that video where it's like Amazing Horse, and it's like, look at my horse is amazing. Give it a lick. And then the woman does, and she goes, tastes just like raisins.
Oh, you need Flash for that.
You should put that in the background of this part. With the stroke of its mane. You gotta watch this video. We gotta watch it at the end of the show.
Okay, then I'll know what you're talking about. I was on HBO.
Ooh, that's dirty.
And Police Academy was expiring as of like midnight last night. Midlight last night.
So like April 30th.
Yeah.
No more Police Academy.
No more Police Academies. And I was
Damn it, I wish you had told us.
Maybe I didn't notice until the middle of this week that they had what looked like all 7 Police Academy movies, and then upon further inspection, no Police Academy 4.
That was the first Police Academy movie I've ever seen.
Really?
I saw it at the Route 3 Cinema, getting nice and local for you.
Nice and local for you.
Why do you have like constipation every time you say that? It's like, oh my God, I've never shit ever. Here's the amount of force I need to push out.
Oh, I feel much better now.
Maybe just put your finger up there, try to coax it out.
Yeah. The digital enema. Your finger's a digit.
All right, so anybody that's going to be like traveling to historic Chelmsford, Massachusetts, and looking for this particular movie cinema, you're going to be shit out of luck.
Yep.
It is now a Stop and Shop.
It is a Stop and Shop. Yeah, I challenge you to take your iDevice and just sit down in the middle of the produce section and
But the thing is, like,
I don't challenge you.
Like, the Route 3 Cinema was there for a very long time after it closed.
It was.
It closed in, like, I think 2000 even.
Sounds right. Yeah.
And it was there until I think 2010, maybe even a little bit.
It was there a long time.
Maybe 2008. I'll even.
It was a while.
Subtract another 2 years of.
Did you ever break in there and
I would kind of wanted to
projected something on the big screen?
No. Did you?
I don't want to get personal. I mean, I project things on the big screen all the time, if you know what I'm saying.
I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're going to have to spell it out, Chris.
No, I mean, sometimes I spell it out.
Please.
Onto the bed, but like most of the time I project it onto the big screen.
The big screen. So you sit in the front of the movie theater and you jizz on the screen. What you're very...
That's how the screen gets
very
white.
Subtly alluding to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, sometimes I spell it out onto the floor with the popcorn.
Ew.
I heard a story. I was not part of this story, but somebody that I know and somebody else that I know, before I before I knew
Why
one of
don't
them.
you just say 2 people I know?
2 people I know.
Somebody I know and another person that I know.
Well, they weren't there together, and they were not involved in this particular act together. But the better friend of these two was in the back of the Route 3 cinema.
Was it John?
I'm not gonna say. Although I guess
not his brother.
Yeah. And witnessed this other friend of mine who would become a friend of mine later. She was having sex with somebody in the back of the Route 3 cinema.
Nice.
When she was about 14.
Oh, that's not nice.
No, I mean I think it was with another 14 to 16-year-old.
I don't know. Try not to do that in public.
That would be a good idea.
You dumb teens.
I don't know if I saw any Police Academy movies at the Route 3 cinema or otherwise.
I remember seeing because I used to be a big fan of Bobcat Goldthwait at the time, because what was I when that movie came out? I was 88, 89. It was
something like that, yeah.
It was 9, 10 years old, something like that.
You're in the target demo.
I'm this guy's yelling and making weird. What was that sound?
I don't know.
I mean, he's.
I can't do it.
He does these impressions.
If I could find a Bobcat Goldthwait,
but he's not in the first one.
No, he's in the second one, I think. Which is
he's the bad guy in the second one.
Their first assignment, right?
Yeah.
And then I forget what the third one is.
The third one is when they get they need more recruits, and so they get
I thought that was the fourth.
The fourth one is Citizens on Patrol. Yes.
Okay, so the third one is new recruits. Okay.
But the fifth one is Mission to Miami, or the Miami one.
Yes.
And then the sixth one is City Under Siege. And the seventh one, this is, people are so interested in lists, is Mission to Moscow, which is the only Police Academy movie I've never seen.
Really?
Yes.
You had until last night.
And it's too late.
I'm sorry.
Motherfucker.
Maybe you have until today. I said May 1st, so I don't know if that meant once May 1st happened, it's gone. I think that usually means once clock strikes midnight and it's May 1st, it's out of there.
Fuck.
The thing that I was most disappointed, I was I'm going to do a Police Academy marathon here. I'm going to stay up, and watch as many of these as I can before midnight.
So you cut to one?
And that's the thing. I watched the first one, and then I looked at the next one. And I'm number 2, rated PG-13, and then the rest are rated PG. And I was just what the fuck is the point?
All right,
the shits and the fucks and the random sex and boobs and stuff in the first one. That's the point, isn't it?
Well,
and that's all gone.
If you look at the it happens to every film, because if the first film gets popularity,
yes,
you want to get it out to a wider audience,
right?
But the thing is, it didn't work because the first one is the only one that was actually, I'm not going to say good, but it was the only one that was acceptable enough to be just...
Yes. And in terms of what acceptable enough for the time, watching it last night, there were so many cringeworthy moments. I mean, all of the sort of homophobia that's the just blatant homophobia that's in the movie.
When they go to the gay club?
They go to the gay club.
Dun, 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 dun.
I know, I hadn't thought of that music in forever. And then the song at the end, I was this is going to get stuck in my head. Thankfully, it hasn't.
What was the song at the end?
No, there's a pop song that I think never was popular, but it's like a I don't know, an F-rated version of an 80s pop song that they just slammed on the end of that thing.
Get over it.
That's a 90s pop song.
Sorry, I got my decades mixed up.
You bitch about the present. You blame it on the past.
Fucking assholes.
I'd like to find your inner child and kick its fucking ass.
Did they say fucking?
No, but when I would imagine singing that as part of a band,
probably already
covering
did this
that.
before.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Hey, remember when we talked about this before?
Hey, it's like it never happened. They tell these stories. So I watched the first one, yeah, and there's obviously some gay stereotypes, some sort of black stereotypes. Obviously, Bubba Smith, gets ejected from the academy because one of the white dudes utters a racial slur at Hooks when Hooks runs over his foot, and then Bubba Smith saves the day. Hightower.
Yes.
I was like, what is this? I couldn't remember the character's name.
But then he goes back to being a florist.
Yes.
But then he saves the day at the end of the movie.
He saves the day at the end of the movie. Yeah. Spoilers. But in between, in the middle, there's one scene with a bunch of boobs in it.
Yes.
Two scenes with a bunch of boobs.
I think the entire movie is filled with boobs.
Including Steve Guttenberg. A Class A boob.
So, but the thing is, like, they were just like, oh, we need a wider audience, and so, like, the studio and their infinite wisdom,
like,
it's just
make
like,
the next one PG-13.
Let's not have it be R, because, like, the statement that, you know, kids will want to see something that they can't.
Right.
So if any kid can go to fucking, like me, you know, the 8-year-old or the 9-year-old can go with their parents to see Police Academy 4,
right?
Then it's like, but that's not the audience you want, because this is just like kids laughing at, like, you know, Bobcat going, and not because the movie's actually good,
right? And
Bobcat is actually a pretty great director now, but at the time he's well, maybe I should take a step back and say great, and not say great, but he's a good director at this point in time. But at the time, he was just like a young comic that was just like, you know, hey, I got this fucking movie.
Yeah, had he done One Crazy Summer by that point?
I think he. Yeah. No. Because I
think that must have been his first or one of his first.
Yeah, maybe.
At any rate, so.
Was that the one with when he was eating the peanut butter sandwich and it was Aaron Burr?
I can't remember.
And the guy's like listening to like the radio station the entire summer, trying like waiting for like the phone call or whatever, and he gets the call and he's eating like peanut butter sandwich and he's thinking, Aaron Burr.
Yes, I think that's it. So there was a Police Academy point. There was another point. Oh, well. So recently, the PG-13 point. So recently, Kevin Smith appealed to. He's always doing this. I feel like it's a stupid fucking publicity stunt. He must have some kind of agreement with the MPAA to always have the MPAA make his movies be rated higher than they should be, so that every single time he can go and be tweeting and Facebooking all about, oh, the MPAA, they wanted to rate this R. So his new movie, Yoga Hosers, went in. It was rated R initially, and he went and appealed it, and now it'll be rated PG-13.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know about, like, because wasn't Jersey Girl PG-13?
Yes.
So look what happened the last time he made a PG-13 rated film.
He made a decent film that had people I think Jersey Girl is a decent film. It's not a great film. It's a decent film that people hated because they hated Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez.
No, because that part of the film is only like the first 20 minutes.
But the reason it got shit on is because it came out after Gigli, which was a complete flop, and people hated those two as a cultural thing and as a pair of actors, and they didn't even need to see that J-Lo died in the first 10 minutes. Spoilers. And I think it is a film. I haven't watched it in ages, but I think it stands up. I think it's better than some of his other films. Which is not saying that much.
Like what?
It's better than Dogma.
I like Dogma.
Dogma is dog shit. I mean, most of it's because of Linda Fiorentino, but
you don't like her at all?
No, hate her.
All right. Well, I like Dogma, so I
like parts of Dogma. I like Chris Rock in Dogma. I guess that's a person from that time period that I like.
Chris Rock is still relevant and he's still funny.
Right, but he's the same time period as what we were
like of those that cast of SNL like alum there. Yeah. Like I think he may be the funniest out of that group.
I don't who would be second? I don't know.
Hartman?
Oh, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. But I forget about that. Him being in the scene.
He's dead though.
I know, but that doesn't diminish his legacy. That doesn't diminish what he did when he was alive.
I'm actor Troy McClure. You might remember me from such films as I can't think of any right now. Oh. Steve's improv skills are garbage.
Oh yes, and Smoking the Reefer. So I watched Police Academy. But so when I think you would be proud of me, maybe. Because instead of watching another Police Academy movie, and it was getting close to time to go to bed anyway.
Time to go to bed.
I watched the behind the scenes on
Police Academy.
Trainwreck.
Oh, there was behind the scenes.
There's like a 10-minute behind the scenes on Trainwreck that I was watching it because I was like,
had you seen the movie?
I hadn't. It didn't. No. It didn't spoil anything. It was like one of those HBO things that's
like,
meant to
get you to want to watch the movie.
Get you to watch the movie. So I was like, all right, I remember a little bit about this. I kind of want to go to bed in like 20 minutes, but let me
wet my whistle.
Let me wet my whistle. And I was very intrigued. There were some things that I vaguely remember. In terms of like people they'd gotten to guest star, like LeBron James being in it, and John Cena and things like that. But
John Cena. The thing about you
guys liked that movie, right?
I liked it. Yes, it was great. I like Amy Schumer. Judd Apatow makes a good movie, but they tend to be a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, he did that series on Netflix that we watched. I think it came out around Valentine's Day. It was called Love.
Okay.
And as a series, it worked, like, him as a director works so much better because when he has a story to tell, he has, like, he wants to say more, but in a film, like if you make your comedy movie 2.5 hours long, the audience that's expecting nonstop yucks and occasionally is getting emotional content is not ready for that, and they're just like, this is dumb and boring.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's bad. Like what his style of filmmaking is bad. It's just that I think he works better in something like a series that's like maybe 6, 7, 8 episodes,
right,
where you can tell the story like completely.
Well, he did that with Freaks and Geeks and Undeclared.
Undeclared was not as good.
Was it? I see. I've never watched all of Freaks and Geeks. I watched most of Undeclared when it was on and liked it, but I
remember liking it too because it was when I was when I finally had gotten to college,
right,
and was living the dorm life and. Like for realsies, not when I went to school and then was there for 3 weeks and left and then went to community college with your brother and then two of us. Well, I would never go to class. I think he was better at going to class than I was. And then stopped doing that and then finally decided to actually go to school and actually finish.
Yeah. I mean, I think I liked it because I liked the Apatow-ness of it. And if I were to go back and watch Freaks and Geeks, which has been in my Netflix queue for years, I would probably
I liked Freaks and Geeks a lot more.
Yeah.
And like he was actually talking about it on a radio show I was listening to, and he was just saying like there was like we'd already known that we were going to get canceled, and they had like this really great last episode for the season and like a really great song for it.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to, I forget what the song was, but they didn't want to pay for it because if they wanted to use the song, he would have had to pay out of pocket.
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay, I'll just pay out of pocket for a DVD that may or may not ever come out. And this is like, that series came out like, what was it, in the 2000 even?
Something like that.
Or was it 99 or something like that?
I don't remember.
Not everybody had a DVD player at that point.
Right.
At that point. Like I think 97 was when people started getting them.
Yeah,
I think maybe
we've had this conversation too.
Yes, whatever.
I can't remember. Yeah,
2001 was I think when a lot of people got them because that's when the PlayStation 2 came out.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. So I'm glad to hear that Love is good because I have that in my Netflix queue too.
I would totally recommend. It's depressing as hell, but also hilarious and just good in general.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think I agree with you that he seems to want to go long. Like he did Funny People, right?
Yes.
It's Funny People's him. And then what's the other one that I'm thinking of? This Is 40 is him.
I didn't see that one.
Which is not.
It's like an indirect sequel to Knocked Up.
Yeah, and it's not terrible. It's just I recall it being long, which is not
because it's a Judd Apatow movie, right, and Judd Apatow movies are long.
But was 40-Year-Old Virgin wasn't long, was it?
I think he may not have had as much control over that one, and so then maybe they cut it down to what they originally wanted to do. And
yeah,
and I think that one out of all of them that he's done is more yucks.
Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah.
And he did that for real.
Wow. What a trooper.
For real.
I mean, there aren't people that are working hard in this world.
He had hair ripped off his chest. That takes dedication.
It does. Like I might do that at some point in my life.
Yeah.
Although, especially like last night, I was doing my laundry and I made myself some dinner.
Yeah.
And I spilled, like, it was whatever. I made macaroni and cheese.
Okay, so you spilled macaroni.
That's one of the things that I eat when Becky's not around.
Right, so you spilled macaroni and cheese.
I spilled macaroni on this particular shirt, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing the laundry. I'll just throw it in. I was walking around the house without my shirt on.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at my chest, and I'm like, there's so much gray chest hair.
Oh, no.
On my, and I'm like, why is it that the area where, like, she's like, there's a couple in your beard, but, like, why is that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Area where all my gray hair is going.
All the gray hairs go to die.
What?
No, I don't know. I don't know. Mine. I have a few in my beard. A couple in the hair. I don't know if I've spotted anywhere else. My ears. I get hair in my ears.
I've been trying to pluck those.
Oh, I had the tweezers. I was sitting. I forget what Stephanie and I.
But it's
were
hard
watching.
to see them, like, especially for me.
Yeah, I wasn't even trying to see them last night. I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We were sitting down and watching the latest episode of that, and I grabbed the tweezers from the bathroom, and I just sort of absent-mindedly was like tweezing, like whatever hair.
Get like a little like tissue or something to wipe them on, or something.
Well, I had a trash can right there.
Trash can, like they're just gonna fall like all willy nilly. They're hairs.
Okay. All right. I don't know. Next time I'll be more hygienic, Steve.
I don't want to be like next time I go over hang out over your place. Sit down and I have like ear hair all over me.
Ear hair. Oh, sexy. It's almost as sexy as donkey dishwasher.
I'm not even gonna do it.
It's almost as sexy. Ear hair.
Gross. Should I let it grow out so those words don't reach your ear?
The ear hair, I think, grosses me out more than just about any. I mean, ear hair and nose hair for me, not on other people necessarily, but when I notice them on myself, I just want to eradicate them.
All you have to do is just grow your mustache long enough so it appears like your nose hair isn't necessarily nose hair, but just whiskers.
I can't do it. No, I'm thinking about shaving
your whole face
once the semester's over. That's what I'm thinking about doing.
That's the exact opposite of what people would normally do.
Well,
okay, so normally in a regular job, like you'd be like, oh, I work in this office environment. I want to look professional, so I'm going to shave every day.
Right.
And then if you have an extended amount of time off, I'm not going to shave and have like a nice scruffy beard over the summer or whatever.
But like all of the, like my headshots, so to speak, like if my students go and they look me up anywhere, or if they go on the website and on the university's website, they'll see me with the beard. And so I feel an obligation to present the image. It's not an obligation. Anyway, here's the trouble. Like, I have trouble maintaining the beard at a normal length. Every time I try to trim the beard to just get it like neat and trim, I manage to shave so much of it off that it looks like...
You have like a trimmer?
I do have a trimmer, but
you need a new one.
I don't think it's that. I think it's that I happen to like go in the wrong direction like once, or the little thing slips off the number, like, so I have it set on, I think 4 out of 5. So I'm not trying to trim it even that much. At any rate, so I find the maintenance of a beard to be a pain in the ass. So if I shave it all off and then I just every couple of days shave, I find that to be easier to deal with.
See, I wouldn't. I don't pay that much attention, and I don't trim it that often. I usually every couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well,
I probably do. I was growing up my mustache for a while, but I was like, it's not doing what I want it to do, and I just was like,
yeah,
because it was just I was getting so much food in it.
Yeah. The thing is, nobody ever taught me how to shave.
He had a piece of food sticking out of his face for 2 days. Wasn't anything small either. It was like a chicken wing.
What's that from?
Simpsons.
Oh. I should watch. I should go binge watch The Simpsons from the beginning, huh?
I have the DVDs.
That would take a very long time.
Yeah, I mean,
what is like 25? Are we 30 seasons?
Here's the thing.
The
Simpsons, they're getting close to 30. I think they're 27 right now.
Okay. Yep.
They're getting close to 30 seasons, but there are still more episodes of One Piece than there are of The Simpsons.
Are there really?
Yes, because there's an episode every week of that show.
Yeah.
And The Simpsons is only on for however long a season is. I think it's only like 22 episodes at this point.
Right.
But at the time, maybe it was up like at the beginning of the series, like maybe 24, 25.
Something like that. Yeah. Most of them are just about 22.
Like half the year, basically. But that's why there's more. That's why there's 739 episodes of One Piece and probably less of that of The Simpsons.
Probably. I don't understand. I don't understand how. I mean, nothing against The Simpsons because I do find The Simpsons funny when I watch it. But I don't understand how The Simpsons can like 30 years of The Simpsons. Aren't they out of gags?
I mean, I still watch it. I mean, when I watch things now, I'm usually playing a game on my phone or whatever.
Yeah.
And like half watching it. And now that's what I do. It's I half watch shows.
Yeah. See, that's probably. I mean,
I
don't watch it. I don't half watch anything, and that's why I don't watch that much.
See, well, certain things that I'm going to pay full attention to, like I've been watching Better Call Saul. Like I'm not going to be playing games on my phone when I watch that show because there's a lot of cool things and a lot of interesting little Easter eggs, and I don't want to miss shit like that.
Right.
But The Simpsons at this point, I'm like,
yeah.
It's like going through the motions. It's like, I got to get up in the morning, take a shit, take a shower, and eat breakfast, and then go to work.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, until it's over, then I guess.
Yeah.
But there was like a small amount of time where I wasn't watching it at all. So I think there was like maybe season 25 or 24 or something like that I didn't watch.
It's crazy. It's crazy to even think that there's that many of them. Well, since we're talking about things that we watched, did you watch the 70s documentary?
Yes, it was like a CNN documentary on the decade of the 70s.
Yeah.
And there's a couple things that I found that like would have drastically changed like the course of the country, I think. So can we just be in agreement that Jimmy Carter got fed a shit sandwich?
Yes.
And
I think
like not just one of them. It was just like, here's everything that is gross inside of a sandwich, like several
times
old
over.
Men,
and then we'll be conservative and we'll think Jimmy Carter was a scumbag and Reagan
he wasn't
was awesome.
a scumbag. He was just like this nice guy, and like he got such a raw deal. Yeah. Like, okay, here's where I think
I was making a joke about my father and my uncle.
Oh.
About
what bad things do they have to say about him?
I don't know. All I'm saying is that they become more and more conservative with age, and I hope that that's not
we've gotten older, but we're still sort of lefty pinko eyeballs. But
you should get that treated.
Yes, some droplets.
Yeah. Don't let everybody fart on your pillow anymore.
Here's where I think history would have taken like a complete like left turn, or maybe it would have been a right turn initially, but I think we would have gone left. Okay, so
this is if he hadn't eaten the shit sandwich.
No.
Been fed them as much.
If he hadn't been
fed as many,
or he hadn't been elected.
Okay. Oh.
So I think as much as like I would have, like in that situation, I would have voted for him over Ford. Mm-hmm. But if Ronald Reagan had won the primary, and he had been the candidate, I think he would have beaten Carter in the election.
That sounds right. I mean, I
And because he did 4 years later,
right? Yeah,
I think he would have 4 years earlier, and he would have basically had the same situation that Carter did. Mm-hmm. There was like Carter was just like, I've got like a million problems and I'm trying to juggle them all and I can't solve any of them.
Right.
I don't think Ronald Reagan would have had any more luck.
No.
And then maybe in the 1980 election, we would have had a Ted Kennedy run for president and won.
Which would have been a very, very different...
maybe he wouldn't have drowned somebody in a lake.
Yeah. He would have been assassinated eventually. But, Poor Teddy Kennedy.
Well, no,
biggest target in the whole Kennedy family.
Yeah, because he was a big man.
You should have gone in Boston and you hit him in the Martha's. No, what the fuck is the joke?
Chappaquiddick is the joke, and I already made it.
No, there's a Dennis Leary bit about how Ted Kennedy was the one who didn't get killed. He's like the biggest target in the goddamn Kennedy family. He should have gotten in Boston and hit him in the ass in Hyannis 5 minutes later. Oh, there's a bullet in my ass. Which is a terrible, terrible Dennis Leary. It's a terrible impression of Dennis Leary doing a terrible impression of Teddy Kennedy. Well, Teddy Kennedy is president in 1980. That would be interesting. Or 81. I guess he would have taken office in.
So yeah, I mean that I started thinking about that, and then there's just like there's so the Equal Rights Amendment, like that was on the table, and.
I mean, think about a Democrat in now we're getting past the 70s and into the 80s, but a Democrat in the 80s might have acknowledged, somebody more progressive and liberal might have acknowledged the fact that AIDS was not a thing that just killed gay people, and maybe would have saved, I don't know, who knows? I mean, the virus was going to go where the virus was going to go.
See, well, I'm okay with that because, like, you know, we have way too many people on this planet. Let's just get right down to it. There's too many people.
So you're
AIDS was doing so great, and then we fucking told people about it.
Jeez.
And
to be clear, you're not drinking right now.
I'm not drinking.
Population control.
That's basically what viruses are. Like, we are the virus.
We are
the problem. I sound like a mad scientist now. I sound like an evil villain from a James Bond. I think it was the one with what's his butt?
The one with George Lazenby.
No, the View to a Kill. The one.
Roger Moore.
Yeah, well, Roger Moore was James Bond. Who was the villain in that one?
I think you're thinking of Simon Le Bon.
No. I don't care anymore.
Duran Duran.
Yes, they did the song. But like,
so sorry, yeah.
No, but like, the Equal Rights Amendment was on the table, and then it basically got voted down because it was like wrapped up in Roe versus Wade and like a bunch of other stuff. Because it was unrelated to it, but that shit was happening at the exact same time,
right.
And so like people were associating rights for women. Well, obviously, the right to have an abortion is a right for a woman.
Yes.
But the Equal Rights Amendment had nothing to do with Roe versus Wade.
Right.
But because no matter what happened with the Equal Rights Amendment, people were still going to be able to have abortions.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it was just that we could have had it back then, but I mean, the ladies could have had it back then. And we still don't. We still don't have something along those lines. Right. And we're still talking about it, almost 40 years later.
Yeah.
And I'm just...
You kind of like slip that in there because you didn't want to make me feel bad.
around the time we were born.
Yeah. It was really around the time I was born.
But it was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, how is it like that we have made it absolutely nowhere in 40 years?
I don't know.
Like,
I mean, we've made it some places,
and
very slowly.
In the campaign against Carter that Reagan was running, he was like, "We're gonna make America great again." I imagine. I wonder who ripped that one off.
Wonder who.
But at least Ronnie Reagan had the charisma. This guy's, but like, I don't want to talk about Trump.
Who wrote the book of Trump?
I don't get it. I really don't. Like,
next president of the United States.
Every time he speaks, he says something that offends everyone, but yet still does well.
Yep.
Like, I wish I could do that.
Apparently the entire country hates Hillary Clinton that much.
I mean, I don't like her, but...
I get it. I mean, here's my... we're talking politics. My dad was like a broken record on this. He will say this over and over again to my kids, to me, to anybody. Nobody responds to him.
Just stop indoctrinating my children with your racist crapola.
No. In fact, this is what he has to say about Hillary Clinton. He said that well, it is.
This one's sexist.
No. Well, it's mostly. I guess it is tied into the racism. That she hasn't done enough to distinguish herself from the president. His argument being that the country hates the president.
But the country doesn't necessarily hate the president.
I know that. But so I don't even know how to have a conversation or an argument, because he's coming from a place of the country hates the president, and she hasn't done enough to differentiate.
You mean the president that got us out of a crazy recession?
And yeah, that guy.
That some bumbling cowboy started?
Yeah, well, so that's he repeats that again and again and again, as if we're going to somehow agree with it. Like, and he'll ask me, don't you think he's like, if he's not getting any response from me and he wants to see if he can get a response, he'll come right out and say, so do you think she's done enough to distinguish herself from the president? And I don't even know where to start, because I feel like it's an argument built on bad information to begin with, because I don't think the whole country hates the president. I think the people at the American Legion, where my dad goes to drink, hate the president, because there's probably a fair amount of racists hanging around at that bar. And
why do people like?
And so the country. So in my dad's estimation, the country hates the president.
All right, so let's rewind a little bit. All right, so he goes to the American Legion. These kind of clubs like sort of baffle me a little bit.
Yeah.
Like what is the basis of the club of the American Legion?
I don't think he goes there because he's a member of the club. The Legion in good old Chelmsford, getting local for you. It's got a bar.
I imagine there's a bunch all over the country.
Yeah, it's got a bar downstairs. And that's where he's gone for ages and ages. One of his best friends.
There's like an Elks Club nearby everybody's house in the area.
So one of his friends was a vet. So
he was an animal doctor.
So I think he went with him for a number of years, and that's where he went.
So it's like a place for veterans.
I think that's the American Legion. Yeah, I think it's traditionally a place for veterans, but it's not like you have to show a card or something to go in there. I get the sense that he goes there, that's where he gets a lot of his news and opinions, and that's what he brings home, slightly drunk, or buzzed or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what President Obama's poll numbers are, but I don't get the sense that people hate him in general. And maybe that's just because I'm a pinko commie liberal.
Pink eye.
But the people that I see on Twitter, not on Facebook, the people that I see and I follow on Twitter talk about missing the guy. They talk about missing how funny he is at like the correspondence dinner.
What a fucking segue!
I wasn't necessarily trying to segue. I just.
Oh, you took a long way to get there, but you got there, buddy.
I was not necessarily trying to segue. I was trying to approximately segue. So no, I mean, but so like I get the sense from people that I follow that while they're not 100% happy with what ended up happening under an Obama presidency over the course of 8 years, that they think that in general he did a decent job. And so what the hell was the point of all of that? How did I get even talking?
I still stick to my guns of
Trump and
Hillary. I just wish that he hadn't pushed the universal. Well, not. I wish he had pushed universal health care, but I wish he hadn't, like, the Affordable Care Act. I wish that was not like his first year. Fucking this is the thing we need to get done. Yeah. Like that was like that caused like the upheaval in Congress.
Right. Yeah. It's. I guess somebody had to do it at some point. Hillary tried to do it when her husband was president back in the 90s.
And it had actually bipartisan support at that point, because at that point, like, I think Romney might have been... Oh, wait, no, that was... Romney was after. Never mind.
He was later. Yeah.
But Romney did it in Massachusetts prior. Right, the Republican governor.
Yeah. So I regret that so much of it got wrapped up in what's been called now it's called Obamacare, because I wonder what else he could have done if he hadn't focused so exclusively on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing was like, as much as everybody, it's just we had more regulations. or less regulations. Oh, let's regulate companies less and regulate whatever less and let's give giant corporations tax breaks and blah 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 blah. Like the NFL, fucking NFL. They are not a religious organization, although they do most of their they do most of their work on Sunday. But they don't pay fucking taxes.
Yeah, I've never looked up the reasons for that.
And I'm like, fuck you. I'm sorry. Like, I think the players do.
Yeah,
because they're employees and they're getting a paycheck. Like, so everybody's favorite Tom Brady and his deflated balls.
Favorite. With his deflated balls.
He at least fucking pays taxes, assholes. Yeah. So the next time you get behind good old Roger Goodell, fucking, why don't you just take a second and then look that this fucking asshole doesn't pay a cent in taxes, but you, Johnny Lunchpail, that's listening to our show, that has figured out podcasts somehow, fucking doesn't, or pays out the ass for him. How about that fucking inequality out there, ladies and gentlemen? And we'll have a nice fucking Donald Trump saying, "Oh, my buddies at the NFL and that MLB and everybody that's ever been nice to me and not insulted my small hands." They get all more tax breaks, and fuck you, regular America, fuck faces. I'm sorry, I've lost my mind.
So at that White House Correspondents' Dinner
that you so beautifully segued to before I went on a fucking tirade,
the president ended it by literally dropping the mic. He kissed two fingers.
I think he said Obama out.
Obama out and dropped the mic.
Yes, that is a thing that people do.
People have said, that one of the things that they'll miss. I was following this on Twitter as I was watching Police Academy and that Amy Schumer thing. So I was scrolling through at the same time. That I guess I was half watching then.
Look at you.
Maybe I would have appreciated Police Academy even more had it had my full attention.
Dun 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 dun
dun dun dun dun dun dun. So among the other things, among the president's other remarks,
what kind of zingers did he have?
Here's the end, or towards the end. This is from The Guardian reporting. Watched by an audience that included politicians, journalists, actors, and Trump's two sons, he pretended to wind up his remarks before interrupting himself. No, I'm just kidding. You know I've got to talk about Trump. We weren't just going to stop there. Come on. Although I'm a little hurt that he's not here tonight.
He does these impressions.
We had so much fun the last time. And it's surprising. You got a full room full of reporters, celebrities, cameras, and he says no. Is this dinner too tacky for the Donald? What could he possibly be doing instead? Is he at home eating a Trump steak, tweeting out insults to Angela Merkel? What's he doing?
Merkel.
Evidently relishing this election year, Obama then made reference to Trump's former ownership of the Miss Universe beauty pageant. Quote, the Republican establishment is incredulous that he's the most likely nominee, he continued. Incredulous, shocking. They say Donald lacks the foreign policy experience to be president, but in fairness, he has spent years meeting with leaders from around the world. Miss Sweden, Miss Argentina, Miss Azerbaijan.
Okay, that's great that you're reading things the president said.
Anyway, so it sounded like he did a good job.
Usually everybody that participates in this correspondence dinner and all their fun zingers, it's usually... I don't think they write them. I think they get comedy writers to write them.
I am hurt, though, Bernie, that you've been distancing yourself a little from me. I mean, that's just not something you do to your comrade.
That's funny.
And what's the Hillary one? You've got to admit it, though. Hillary trying to appeal to young voters is a little bit like your relative who just signed up on Facebook. Dear America, did you get my poke? Is it appearing on your wall? I'm not sure I'm using this right. Love, Aunt Hillary.
That's good.
So I think people are. One comment I saw last night was that people were sad that no matter who we get, that this particular event, the correspondence dinner, is not going to be as amusing.
Oh, come on!
With either Donald or
with the Donald, he is full of witty repartee. Yeah. I mean, you've ever watched The Apprentice?
No.
I watched it when Penn Jillette was on.
You fired.
Yeah, that was about the extent of it.
But how long did Penn Jillette last?
He did really well, but then he insulted Donald, and then he fired him for it.
I would imagine.
And they had him on again, and he lost. He made it to the final two, and he lost. Even though I liked his ice cream flavor more.
How is John Kasich doing? That's what I want to know. Because my uncle
John who?
John Kasich. This was the thing that I noticed on Facebook yesterday, that my conservative relatives who don't like Trump were all posting the same story about how Kasich stands the best chance of beating Hillary in a general election. And that seems to be that's of course the angle that they want. They're just trying to drum up support for a guy who has no hope of winning the nomination.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to be not Trump, it's going to be Cruz, right. And
who John Boehner this week called John Boehner this week.
Keep on one of these times you're going to be like, is that how you say his name?
Yeah. John Boehner.
Because sometimes I am actually correcting you the correct way.
Yeah. John Boehner, what did he call him? The literal Antichrist? He called him Lucifer incarnate. I mean, this is a member of his own party. They hate. I think they hate Cruz almost as much as they hate Trump, maybe more.
Well, apparently America loves him.
America. So
that's the things that. How much time have we got?
We got 9 minutes.
Is that enough time for this long email?
I don't know.
What else do we have on the list?
So there was. It was my anniversary this week, but I don't have that much to say about that, except this. We went out to dinner. And
at a restaurant?
At a restaurant.
Tell me more.
My parents had gift cards to Chili's, and
oh boy,
I know
nothing like an anniversary dinner than diarrhea.
But it was the whole family. We're all going out to dinner.
Oh, okay.
So the whole family's going out to dinner, and Melody has had a loose tooth for about 3 or 4 weeks. And
at least she doesn't have a loose stool. Oh wait, she does now.
She does now. Whackity smackity do.
Got some jalapeno poppers. Clear that right up for you.
Her tooth came out at the restaurant, and I was moderately grossed out. That
should have put it in your drink. But put it in her Coke to see how it would dissolve.
The waitress, the wait person. What's the appropriate the server? She told us that this
server. That means they're under you, Chris. The person that brings you food. Because you care about them as an individual and you provide them with a tip money that is blah, blah, blah. I'm out of my mind.
It was not the first time that she'd had tooth fall out at her table.
And this was the first time it was a child, though.
All right, so we had that, and then we had the smoking ban, which I don't know if we have time.
We definitely have time for this one.
And then we had this. We
can put it off till next week.
The smoking ban or Buffy. And,
let's talk about Buffy next week.
All right, Buffy.
Maybe after I've watched this particular episode.
So Buffy. Here's the thing. You were watching an episode of Buffy last week when we came over. When I came over.
Were you the royal we?
Yes, me, myself, and I. I was curious because I feel like you had never seen Buffy before, right?
No.
But you were being indoctrinated. You were being brought into the Buffy club.
Into even the Whedon club, I suppose.
The Whedon club, yeah. And how was that? I mean, or how is it? How far in?
I'm halfway through season 2, which a lot of people dislike apparently.
Oh, okay.
But I'm okay with it so far. It's held my interest. It's very corny, but
that's okay.
Yeah, I'm all right with it. Yeah. Because I went in with the right attitude.
Is it as corny as my shit after going to Chili's?
Did you have corn?
I did. I had.
Then yes.
Maybe that's what held it all together. That's why I didn't have the runs.
Oh, the corn was holding the fecal particles together.
What a lovely conversation.
All right, so the smoking ban.
Okay.
Well, it's not a ban, all right?
So yeah. But why did we bring up the Buffy thing if we're going to talk about the smoking ban?
We're going to talk about the smoking thing.
Okay.
All right, so the state of Massachusetts, the legislature, both House and Senate. I forget which passed it already.
Okay.
But one of them has to make the age where the age you have to be to buy cigarettes be 21 in the state of Massachusetts.
Interesting.
Just like with alcohol.
Right.
And it just throws me through the roof. And I'm like, it's the same old argument that, most people have. It's like, oh, you can go and die for your country, but you can't have a cigarette or
right.
or buy a beer. Or
that's the argument that you subscribe to. Is that
that's not the argument that I subscribe to. The argument I subscribe to is like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, when you are 18, you're a fucking adult.
Yeah.
In the eyes of the law and in the eyes of fucking.
So you'd be more in favor of bringing the drinking age down
to
18 and keeping the smoking age
at 18.
Okay.
Like, I smoked when I was 16. I found ways to get cigarettes, so it's not like people won't be able to do it if they really fucking want to.
Right.
But it's just a fucking nuisance. You know how they're easily going to get it is by driving fucking north to New Hampshire,
right,
or south to Rhode Island, or over up into Vermont, or down into Connecticut, or over into New York, or up into fucking Maine. But that would be fucking stupid because you'd have to go through New Hampshire to get there.
Yep.
And pay more because I think they're more expensive in Maine.
Yeah. Not a lot of things right over the border in Maine, and there are things right over the border in New Hampshire if you're driving up 95.
Yeah, they're like, hey, I imagine the businesses or the local businesses are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it's not like CVS making a corporate decision to stop selling cigarettes.
Right.
That's fine.
Perfectly within their rights as a corporation.
They can do that if they want to. But if people want to buy fucking cigarettes, let them fucking buy cigarettes. They're like already taxed to the fucking wazoo.
Yeah.
Up the wazoo, not to the wazoo.
Up the wazoo.
All the way up into the wazoo.
All the way up the wazoo into the colon.
And I'm just fucking let people do what the fuck they want to do. You can tell people they can't smoke. Like the place where I live is a non-smoking place.
Yeah.
Like you can't smoke in the apartment, and you're not even supposed to smoke on the grounds.
Yeah.
People like private properties can say that,
right,
and I'm fucking fine with that.
Right.
But just fucking let people smoke in places where they're allowed to smoke. I mean, there's fewer and fewer of those places that exist, but if people want to fucking have a cigarette after their day is done.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a person that no longer smokes and hasn't for fucking shit, like 9 years now.
Yeah.
Or wait, no, 8 years. Sorry.
I'm going to open a restaurant and they'll have 2 smoking sections, ultra and regular.
Yeah. Like, fuck you and your Dennis Leary, like, make a good point. I mean, that was the same problem back.
You wanted the plane, we gave you the whole fucking plane. Sorry.
We had the same problem back in college in Framingham, because I remember.
Was that when they stopped in the bars?
They stopped in certain towns first, before they banned it in Massachusetts in every restaurant.
Right.
So like the town of Framingham passed the whatever bill or law or whatever.
Yeah, I think Cambridge was early too.
Yeah, and they say you can't smoke at any bars or whatever. And guess what? All the bars in Framingham were losing business to the bars in fucking Natick or the bars in Westboro or whatever else. Right. And they were like, fucking, hey, the town of Framingham, can you fucking figure this out? Because we're losing shit tons of money because everybody's going to other places and not coming to our establishments because they want to fucking sit in a bar and smoke at a different place. So once it was like all of Massachusetts, that was a different thing.
Right.
But like, the same thing happened, when they banned it in Massachusetts, people would go to New Hampshire, at least people I know, because we lived near New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And they would go up to bars up there and smoke. And it would even pay more because New Hampshire has a higher prepared food tax. They'd pay more money to be able to smoke in a fucking place.
Yeah, yeah.
I want people to fucking be able to do the shit that, but it hurts other people. Like what if you're sitting in your car by yourself? Who are you hurting? Your car's probably shooting out more carcinogens than you smoking the fucking cigarette is.
Quite possibly.
So fucking shut up, everyone. legislature. I want to choke this microphone.
I was gonna say I can't shut up. I'm not saying anything.
God damn it, Chris! Stop arguing with me.
I can't remember if we talked about, and we're out of time. I shouldn't bring this up.
Fine, we'll give them extra.
No. Did we talk about Cambridge banning plastic bags?
Yeah, I think we did.
Okay, all right.
And I think I went on a similar tizzy.
Right. I was thinking we did cover that.
I mean, we have the bags. I think I said this last time. We have the reusable bags.
Yeah,
and we bring them. And every once in a while, we don't bring them so we can get some of those fucking plastic bags that we can use for trash bags for the bathroom.
Right.
And I use them for my lunch bags until they get like a giant hole in them, and then I throw them out. It's not.
You're a good citizen.
Yeah, it's not like I'm fucking using them once and throwing them all out. I'm fucking recycling the plastic shitty bags that apparently are ruining the earth.
You can find the show notes for this episode at clarkwoods.com/hot/92. And if you have any comments about any of the things we've said, corrections, comments, concerns,
you can give them to us, but I'll probably be on such a ranty high when we read the email that I'll probably tell you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah, and we may not read the email for weeks and weeks. And,
April 11th.
April 11th.
Maybe sometime in May.
I started talking about it. But if you'd like to send that email, you can send it to hot@clarkwoods.com. Hot. .com. Hot@clarkwoods.com. Or if you'd prefer, if email is not your speed and you've only got 140 characters worth of
worth of complaint.
It'd be a little bit less than that because our usernames are longer. You can hit us up.
You could go to Chris first, and because he has a slightly shorter Twitter handle.
I am at ECC1977.
And I am at Tuesday is Loser. That's Tuesday, IS, Loser, all one word.
I think that's the show.
That is definitely the show. So, waddle doodle. We'll see you next time there, kiddos.